Hey everybody, I thought I would try something a little different. I demoed this game a long time ago, last year, trying to do it through my phone, and the recording obviously was not very good quality. So now that I've learned how to do this screen recording, I thought I'd give it another shot and try to give this game a fair shake. This is called Diamond Mine Baseball. The first computer baseball simulation game that I actually played. Goes way back into the 80s. When I started playing, I think it was called Pursue the Pennant before that. And now it's Diamond Mine Baseball. And they have almost every season going back to 1900s, early 1900s, that you could order. Some are called deluxe seasons, which have the transactions and the left-right splits and more detailed stats. And some are called the classic seasons, which are a lot less expensive and they have a little bit less of the bells and whistles. But what I thought I'd do to show this game is I'm into the current 2015 season, or when I say current, I mean the most recent season completed. And I thought I would play a game between Baltimore and Boston. Just happened to pick the day. I opened up the game and it was on April 17th, so I said, why not? So I was going to show what you do when you get to the screen, the settings you can use to set things up, and then go through, a extended sample of play. So in this case, we've played up through April 16th, and right now Boston is 7-2, so way ahead of their normal pace, and Baltimore's 4-5. Of course, Toronto's got a great start as well. So this game here is to see if Baltimore can try to sneak a little closer to Boston. So we'll go ahead and elect to play this. So we click the play button, obviously, and it says play selected game, which is also the first unplayed game. So it's really the double duty there. But I'll hit play selected game, which is the one in the black highlight. So we hit that, and then it's going to give me options. Do I want to manage both teams, or do I want the computer to manage one team and me to manage the other? Now, what I like to do sometimes is, in this game particularly, in fact most of the time, not just sometimes, is I like to control the substitutions and the starting lineups because, well, the starting lineups I don't have to because it's as played. But the substitutions I like to control and then let the computer determine when they bunt, when they take the extra base, and so forth. And it kind of gives me an opposite manager to go head to head with like I'm playing somebody else, a real opponent, and it's really the computer. So what I'm going to do is change everything to all computer, and then on the substitutions part, I'm going to keep it human. So that means that, actually I've got it backwards here. Let me do the all human for Baltimore, and we'll have Boston be the computer team, but I'm controlling the substitutions so that I can control, bringing a relief pitcher when I feel it's necessary and so forth. All right, so what you can also do is set up the colors, and there's not really that much colors to the game. This is mostly a text-based game, but I've got the colors already set up. Boston's going to be in the white jerseys with the red trim. The Orioles will be in the gray jerseys with the orange trim. So we'll click OK, and that's going to take us to our pregame screen that talks about the weather, 63 degrees, wind blowing in from center and 10 miles an hour. And we click OK, and we go to the lineup screen. And this is already pre-filled in the starting lineup for the Orioles and the starting pitcher for the Red Sox. And for the Orioles, it gives you their pitchers that are not in the game. And the ones in red are the ones who, particularly starters, who are tired and would be much less effective to be in the game. So what I like to do is make these ineligible, and that will hide them. So I'm going to do that for the players that are just in the red, the starters that are in red. And any starting pitcher that only started, I'm going to make him ineligible to get him out of the way. And also another neat feature, so that you don't use a relief pitcher that's going to start the next day, you can go into scheduled pitchers, and it'll tell you who the next 4 scheduled pitchers are. We got Tillman, Gonzalez, Chen, and Norris. Okay, that means even though Gosman was both a starter and reliever, we know he's not going to start for 4 days, so he is certainly, we should have him in as a relief pitcher right now. So that's the reason for that. Darren O'Day and Zach Britton are both in red, but that just means they might be a little bit less effective because they pitched recently, but certainly no reason not to have them in there. So when I go to batters and then come back, it says show available only on the pitchers. Well, I probably will do it once I go to the screen. All right, there is the starters or the position players that are not in the game. And then if I want to look at the opposing lineup, the Boston Red Sox, we'll go over here and see we've got their lineup, and Ubaldo Jimenez is your starter. And then we have the same situation where I would want to take and see who their next starters are, which is Buchholz, Porcello, Masterson, and Miley. So I want to make sure that none of those pitchers are showing as eligible, so that the computer doesn't accidentally use them by mistake when they're in relief when they might be pitching the next day. So that's done there. And now we're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now you notice as I've gone back to Baltimore where I say show available only, all those people that I made ineligible are no longer showing. So if I do it like that, it shows them. If I don't, that tells me who I have available in the bullpen. So basically I have 7 guys that I can turn to in the bullpen as an Oriole manager. All right, now we're ready to go. So now everything's all set up. We've got the picture of Fenway Park in the background and the ratings of the defensive players all here. We've got the leadoff batter Alejandro de Aza, his photo here. Joe Kelly, starting pitcher, his photo here. If we want to click on Joe Kelly to get his stats before the game starts, it's actually right here. But you can also click on his name, and that gives you what he did in real life for the 2015 season. He was 10-6 with a 4.82 ERA. In the current replay, he's pitched 2 games. He's 0-1 with a 5.06 ERA. It also shows you how the league is hitting against him, lefties and righties. He's given up a lot more hits, or on pace to give a lot more hits than he gave up in real life, because we got a 308 average here versus 254. And same down here, 333. Although sample size, let's be honest, sample size is awful small, so kind of hard to judge that just yet. All right, so I'm at bat as the Oriole manager. So with no one on base, there's really, unless I want to have De Aza try to reach via a bunt, there's really nothing I can do until people start getting on base. Now, there's also a mode in here called pitch mode or batter mode. Now, the difference between pitcher mode and batter mode, and I like to play batter mode. Batter mode, one click determines the entire at-bat. If you go to pitch mode, then you're going to go pitch by pitch by pitch. And I guess that can be good when you're trying to hold a runner on base or so forth, but I kind of like to be a little bit more expedient than that. So I default this to batter mode. And then to get to pitch mode, you click that, but you click this. But I like to keep it in batter mode. That way, one click, 99% of the time, will determine the final outcome. You might get a foul ball, or you might have something happen that doesn't resolve the at-bat, but 99% of the time it will be resolved. Okay, so what's going to happen here is we're going to go ahead and start the game. And when I click this swing away, this window is going to fill up with the play-by-play of what happens. And it kind of gives you descriptive play-by-play. And it's a game where you kind of use your imagination, use your mind's eye, and you almost kind of broadcast the game to yourself in your mind as to what's happening, and you kind of try to paint that picture. But you still get, a little bit of aesthetics here. There's no sound. The only sound you're hearing is me talking. So we're going to go ahead and let De Aza hit against Joe Kelly, and we'll see how the game operates. Okay, it says, hello everyone. Welcome to Fenway Park. Starting the mound for Boston is Joe Kelly. Leading off for Baltimore is Alejandro De Aza. He brings a 156 average into the game. It's an 0-2 Kelly pitch, and De Aza goes down looking as Kelly paints the outside corner. And there's your strikeout. Now, at any time during the game, you can go to the box score and check on what's going on. We only have one at bat, so obviously the only thing we're going to have is De Aza's at bat here. But you can kind of get a batting average, a current batting average of the players, their up-to-date batting average, and the up-to-date ERAs of the pitchers. We go to the score sheet. You got the score sheet here all lined up. And like I said, we only had one batter, so there's nothing much going on there. And there's also a game log which kind of puts it in English what's going on. So it just says De Aza struck out, and it was an 0-2 count. And so what it looks like here is this gives you the strict description of the strikes itself if you're interested in that. So the F means he had a foul ball on strike one. The C means strike two was called. And then the C here means it was a called third strike, which is what the play-by-play described, saying he painted the outside corner, catching him looking. So that's the game log there. That's the option there. Okay, so now the next batter is Steven Pierce. So we're going to go through the same thing until we get somebody on base, then we can start trying to use some strategy and so forth. So let's see what Pierce can do. Says up to the plate, Steven Pierce, only 182 against righties. So 1-2 count from Kelly. He delivers to sharp grounder. Bogarts with the pickup, and he makes a nice play, throwing Pierce out. It's out 6-3. He ranged behind the bag at second to make that play. So you can kind of, in your mind's eye, kind of picture him going to his left behind the bag, kind of doing a 180 and falling away into center field as he throws the ball to Napoli to get the out on the slower running Steven Pierce. So this is the kind of game that kind of makes me use my imagination, and it really brings back a lot of memories. I know I've been playing a ton of Strat-O-Matic lately, Payoff pitch, and so forth. But this is like an old friend that I've had from the beginning that I really probably need to go back and play more often. But just wanted to show it now. So Travis Snider with 2 outs and nobody on. Travis Snider will bat. See if he can do anything against Joe Kelly. He's got a 4-game hitting streak so far. That's pretty good. Kelly fires the 1-2 pitch. He lines it into the left field. One hop off the glove of Sandoval. So you can picture Sandoval, who doesn't have the best range, tell by his poor rating here. In other words, in Strat-O-Matic lingo, it'd probably be a 4 or a 5. Then he couldn't get to that ball that other third baseman might have, and so therefore Snider gets his base hit. And there you see Snider at first base. Now the graphics here don't line up with the photo, but that's just the way that works. You don't have to have a photo. That's just something I imported myself. If you play the game from the factory, it's just a green screen in the back with the white outline of the shape of Fenway Park. But that's just the way that looks. Okay, now we got a runner on base, 2 outs. If we click on Snider, he only had 1 stolen base all year, so probably not going to steal. With 2 outs, you're not going to hit and run. So we're still going to let Adam Jones, who's a nice power hitter, swing away. So we'll let Adam swing away. See what happens against Joe Kelly. He's 257 on the year with 2 home runs. The 0-1 pitch, he really clubs this one to deep left field. Might be off the monster. Poised at the wall is Ramirez, and he makes a leaping catch. So that's surprising because Ramirez is not the best fielder in the world, but you could picture him going back to the wall, feeling for the wall, jumping to just the right time and making that catch. All right, so we finished the top of the first, and now we've got Ubaldo Jimenez for the Orioles to face Mookie Betts, and now I'm on defense. Now there's this thing called Quick 1-1, and I can also go the long way. Quick 1-1 basically means I'm going to challenge the hitter, which is what I would do here, and then play normal defense. So I challenge the hitter and play normal defense. The shortcut for that was the quick 1-1 that was over here. So right now I'm just going to do normal defense and challenge the hitter. And let's see what happens here as he faces Mookie Betts. All right, Boston leadoff man Mookie Betts. He's only 174 against righties. Here's the first pitch from Jimenez. He pops it up in the air to the left. De Aza circles back, gathers it in, fly ball to left, 1 away. All right, that brings up Dustin Pedroia. There he is. So instead of doing the challenge hitter and normal depth infield, I'm just going to do quick 1-1, and that will, 1 keystroke or 1 click of the mouse will take care of that. All right, here's Pedroia. He's hitting .419 so far against righties. The 1-strike pitch, a grounder up the middle, and it's through into center field for a base hit, so his average against right-handers is going to go up even more. And now that brings up Big Papi. Big Papi is up now. I can try to pick the runner off. I can try to pick Pedroia off. I can pitch out if I think he's going to try to steal. But with Big Papi up, I think he's going to hit, so I'm going to go ahead and just challenge the hitter here. Could pitch around him, but I'm going to go ahead and challenge him. Ortiz at 333. 3-2 pitch. Here's the delivery. It's ball 4. Okay, so Ortiz in that last at bat walked. So now we got runners at first and second with 1 out.
You've got mail.
And we got 9 pitches, 5 for strikes so far from Jimenez. And now you got Hanley Ramirez. So do I want to try to pitch around Hanley? If you want to know who the next batters are, you got right here, you got the lineup Sandoval and Napoli. So I'm going to go ahead, since it's righty on righty matchup, I'm going to go ahead and pitch to Hanley Ramirez. We're going to again do the quick 1-1 and see what happens. All right, Hanley Ramirez, the cleanup hitter. He's hitting .320 against righties. It's a 2-2 pitch from Jimenez. Ramirez reaches down, poking into deep right center, where on the run, Snyder grabs it for the out. Pedroia will tag and move to third. So you see now Pedroia is perched at third base, Ortiz at first base, and the Panda, Pablo Sandoval, is here. Now Sandoval was a .258 hitter on the year, but he hit .266 against righties. So he had a little pop there. And the next batter is Napoli, who is no picnic either. So it looks to me like we're not going to pitch around or anything. We're just going to go after him as normal. So we'll go ahead and let Jimenez pitch to Sandoval. .269 against righties on the season. Pitch sales low, even in the count. That was close. Joseph makes a snap throw to third. Pedroia is caught flat-footed, and Machado tags him out. How about that? Caleb Joseph just picked off Dustin Pedroia from third base to end the inning. So Pedroia got a little chippy going down the third base line, and there must have been a signal between Machado and the catcher Joseph, and Joseph threw down there to get him out and get the Orioles out of the inning. So now you see we're at the second inning. There's no score, and what I'm going to do now is go ahead and quick play this. There's a quick play option, and you can go to the next half inning, or you can go to up to any individual inning you want, all the way up to game over. I'm going to go ahead and take it up to the 7th inning and see where we are at this point. So I'll go ahead and click that. And what has happened in the quick play is that we've had a substitution for the original right fielder, and now Brock Holt is showing up in that position. So Brock Holt is, he played everywhere except for catching. So we're going to go ahead. All we're going to do, since I'm in control of the substitutions for the computer, is go ahead and just insert or give him a new defensive position of right field, and now he's listed as the right fielder. All right, click OK, and it's still a 1-1 ball game as we go to the top of the 8th. And right now, Edward Mujica has been brought in by the computer to pitch for Boston. And we'll go to the box score real quick and see what has happened. And see, Joe Kelly went 5 2/3 through 102 pitches. And now Mujica has already pitched an inning and a third. So I think he ought to be done. Usually that's about the most they're going to pitch. So since I'm in control of the substitutes for the computer, I'm going to go to the defensive lineup and bring in a new pitcher. And if I want to see who the Orioles have up to bat, they have righty-lefty, righty-lefty with the Pierce, Snyder, Jones, Davis routine. So what I think about doing here is bringing in lefty Craig Breslow. So to do that, all I'll do is highlight Breslow and slide him over to Mujica's spot, drop him in, click OK, and now you have Craig Breslow on the mound, and he'll be facing Steve Pierce. So we'll go ahead and get this started. 1-1 ball game, top of the 8th. Breslow is on to pitch. He features a fastball, curve, and change. Second appearance of the year with no record. Steve Pierce from the right side. Hit a double play ground ball back in the 5th. Winds and deals on the inside corner. 1 down. He struck him out looking. So Breslow did the job against the righty. Now he gets to face the left-hander, Travis Snyder, unless Buck Showalter wants to go to a pinch hitter. So if we click the batting lineup and see who's available on the bench, we see we have Delman Young sitting here, a right-handed hitter. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Delman Young. So I'm going to bring in Delman Young, just slide him over and drop him in Snyder's spot. And then now you see Delman Young is the pinch hitter. So I'm going to go ahead and see if Delman Young, a righty, can do anything with the lefty. Okay, right-hander swings. It's a wind-up pitch, pop in the air. Bogarts is back and makes the play, and there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Adam Jones. So Adam Jones with 2 outs and the base is empty. Step in against Breslow. The 1-1 pitch. Lifted high to short left field. Bogarts will take it as Ramirez tells him he can have them all. That sounds like something Ramirez would do. Okay, now we go on the substitution screen because Young pinch hit for the right fielder Snyder. So we're going to right click on that to go to a new defensive position and put Delman Young in right field. And we click OK, and now Delman Young is in right field, even though he's not all that great of a right fielder. Now, Baldo Jimenez is at 100 pitches, so looks like we're going to go to the bullpen for the Orioles. And they're going to bring in, it looks like, Tommy Hunter. So we'll bring in Tommy Hunter to pitch here for Jimenez. There's Tommy Hunter. So here he's going to face the catcher, Ryan Hannigan. So Hunter on the mound for the Orioles, just his second appearance. Again, we're only at the April 17th date. So here's Hannigan, a 1-2 pitch from Hunter. Inside pitch fools Hannigan, and he struck him out. There's 1 away, and that'll bring up back to the top of the order for Mookie Betts. So we'll see what Betts can do. He has not hit safely today, 0 for 3. Hunter comes home with the 1-1 pitch. It's lined to second. Scope jumps, but it gets past him. Young is over to cut it off, but Mookie Betts has a 1-out single. So Mookie Betts, and he runs pretty well. He stole 21 bases on the season. So this is where, as a defensive manager, I'm trying to figure out what the computer might do. I could try to pick Betts off. I could try to pitch out, or I could just pitch normally to Pedroia. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and try a pickoff. So we'll see if we can get Betts picked off here. Normal defense. Let's see what happens here. Quick move to first base. It's in the dirt. Pierce keeps it from getting by him while Betts steps back in safely. So that's the danger in trying the pickoff. You don't want to keep trying too many of them because that can create an error. All right, now this is where we could go to pitch by pitch mode rather than batter mode because we want to see if we can hold Betts here. So we're going to challenge Pedroia with the first pitch of the inning and see what happens. Stretch by Hunter, pitch is on the way. It's in there. Quick first strike on Pedroia. Okay, now we got an 0-1 count on Pedroia. So we're going to see if that makes any difference with Betts. We're going to go into a pitch out since we think we can afford it and see if we can catch Betts maybe trying to sneak over to second. Second pitch to Pedroia. Betts gets the signal to steal, but he didn't get a good jump. It's a pitch out, and he's not going anywhere. So he was thinking about it, so we were on the right track, but he didn't go anywhere. So we're going to try it again. It's a 1-1 count. We're going to take a chance that Betts isn't going. And the count is now 2-1 as that pitch was low. So it's 2-1 count, and typically in baseball lore, the 2-1 count is the most liked as far as hit and run and that sort of thing. But we're going to go ahead and just pitch it normally. I don't want to throw a pickoff that's going to go away and end up down the right field line. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch to Pedroia and see if Betts goes anywhere. 2-1 offering. It's a ball 3. See, so Hunter is getting distracted by Betts, and now all of a sudden it's a 3-1 count, and he's about to put the second man on and then have Ortiz coming up. So let's go ahead and pitch this to Pedroia. 3-1 pitch. There goes the runner. Swung on and missed. Joseph throws to second. Betts slides, and he's out. So Joseph, with a rifle shot, gets Betts stealing. And it's a 3-2 count on Pedroia. So we'll go ahead and finish out the Pedroia at bat. 3-2 pitch. It's a ground ball to Cabrera at short, and the inning is over. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and we'll put this back to batter mode. so that we don't have to do that for every single pitch. All right, so Craig Breslow, lefty, is still on to face Chris Davis, the left-handed batting DH. So we'll go ahead and let Davis swing away. He's hitless so far. 1-2 count, kicks and delivers. Did he go? Yes, he did. It's a strikeout. So there's one away. And now with right-handers Machado and Joseph coming up, Breslow has done his job. They're going to turn it over to, it looks like they could go to, well, there's no save situation because we're in the ninth. So they're going to turn it over to Koji. They're going to see if Koji can keep it close. So Koji Urahara is in to try to keep this thing close. Here is Manny Machado. Again, when you're the home team in the top of the ninth of a tie score, there is no save situation any longer. So you may as well use your closer. So Machado, an 0-2 delivery, bounced off the mound, taken by Bogarts, and he'll throw over to get Machado for out number 2. And now with 2 outs, that'll bring up catcher Caleb Joseph. Caleb Joseph to the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joseph flinches, and a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. Hannigan hangs on for strike 3. So we go to the bottom of the ninth with the chance for the Red Sox to win it here. And we've got Ortiz, Ramirez, and Sandoval, 2 left-handers coming up. So Buck Showalter going to Brian Mattis, his lefty reliever. So Brian Mattis is going to come in to pitch, and he will be facing, there he is, he will be facing Big Papi to start the ninth. So let's see if, and as you can see right here, Big Papi only 231 against lefties, 292 against righties. So let's see if the strategy pays off. Ortiz up to the plate, a 1-ball, 2-strike offering, little line drive, and it gets into right field for a hit. So he hit it just over the first baseman Pierce's head for a base hit. And Ortiz is on, and he runs like molasses, so they're going to go and get a pinch runner. And it looks like it's going to be Daniel Nava. So Daniel Nava is going to pinch run for Ortiz. So there's Nava right there, pinch running. He's got running average rating now. Hanley Ramirez is up. It's not really a bunting situation, but they could pinch hit with a bunter, but there's really not too many guys left on the bench. So I'm going to go ahead and let Ramirez swing away here and see what happens. Mattis with the delivery to Hanley Ramirez with Nava at first. Ground ball down to Scope. He'll give it to Cabrera. Return throw to first, and that's a double play. So just like that, a 4-6-3 double play, and that'll bring up the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. His history, he's had problems getting lefties for a few years now, even though he's a switch hitter. I think he's abandoning switch hitting, as a matter of fact. Sandoval risks a curveball into the alley and right. Both Jones and Young are in pursuit. They won't get it, and it makes it all the way to the wall. Finally getting it back in, and Sandoval with a double. So in this case, he defeated the odds, or went against the odds, and got that score. Now, he doesn't run well, but they don't have anybody left on the bench that they can bring in. They would be without a third baseman. I guess they don't really have Ramirez, doesn't play third base either. So they're really kind of stuck here, having to stick with the slow-running Sandoval. But Napoli is up, but first base is open, so they're going to go ahead and intentional walk to Napoli. And that will put Napoli on. His run doesn't mean anything. It also sets up a force play. And we got another lefty-on-lefty matchup with Brock Holt facing Brian Mattis. So, actually, we do have a chance to pinch run for Sandoval. I think Alan Craig's a little bit faster. So I'm going to put Alan Craig in for Sandoval. And if it does go extra innings, we can move Holt to third and Craig to right. So I'm going to try it that way. Craig's at least an average runner. So we got lefty Mattis against lefty Holt. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. A base hit could win the game. 2-strike pitch to Holt. Line drive to right field. Young backs a little. Now he changes direction and races in, but he won't get it. Alan Craig is rounding third. Napoli is around second. Holt is on at first with a base hit. Young went wrong way of the ball, and he couldn't regroup in time. Craig is going for home, and he's out. So Alan Craig is out at the plate. Nice block of the plate by Joseph. And just like that, we're going to extra innings. Okay, so as luck would have it, we've got extra innings, and Koji Urahara in there to face Everett Cabrera to start the 10th. So we'll see. We'll try to play this out and see if we can't get a winner in the 10th inning here. All right, here's an 0-1 pitch, a bouncer to Napoli, underhands to Urahara covering for a 3-1 putout. And there's one away. That'll bring up ninth place hitter Jonathan Scope. He did hit 15 home runs on the year. Line to left. Ramirez back and jumping. He can't make the catch. Still, he has to carry him the one hop, and in there with a double is Jonathan Scope. And I think that has to do with the fact that Ramirez does not have good range, and maybe a little bit better left fielder might have caught that ball. So Scope is at second base with one out, and here is De Aza, who's not the best hitter in the world. So let's see who the Orioles have on the bench. They don't really have a whole lot of options. All the bench players have low averages as well, so we're going to go ahead and stick with De Aza, let him swing away, and see what happens here. He struck out 3 out of 4 times today. This time he lines one the other way and is caught by Ramirez for the out. And that'll keep Scope. Well, they give you the option if you want to have Scope try to get to third, but on a ball hit the left, shallow left at that, it's borderline, and you don't want to make the third out at third base. He's already in scoring position, so we'll hold him. And then now Stephen Pierce is up with a chance to drive home Scope against Urahara. So let's see if Pierce can do anything. He struck out in the 8th. It's a 2-1 pitch Urahara offers, and it's lined, caught by Bogaerts to end the inning. So Urahara escapes. And now we go to the bottom of the 10th, and with the righties coming up, the Orioles will go to the bullpen again, and this time they'll go to Brad Brock. So Brad Brock is on in relief, and he'll be facing Xander Bogaerts, Ryan Hannigan, and Mookie Betts here in the 10th. The only bench player they have left is backup catcher Sandy Leone. So you're pretty much going to go with what you got. All right, Brock gets a sign from Joseph. 3 balls and 1 strike pitch. The pitch is on the way and then misses for a ball. So it's a leadoff walk to Bogaerts, and that's never a good thing, a leadoff walk to anybody, particularly someone who can run like Bogaerts. Bogaerts stole 10 bases, only caught twice. So now we got the option again. Do we want to pitch out? What do we want to do here? We'll try another pickoff, see if we can catch him leaning. And let's see what happens here. Brock with a throw over. Pierce applies the tag. And Bogaerts is back in safely. All right, we're going to go ahead and concentrate on the hitter Hannigan and see if we can get a double play out of this. Bogaerts being held at first. 2-2 pitch on the way. It's a liner to center. Hit right on the button, and it's in there for a single. Bogaerts will hold at second as Adam Jones has a good arm. So now runners at first and second with nobody out. And you wonder, would they bunt Mookie Betts here with Pedroia, Nava, and Ramirez coming up? Remember, Nava ran for Big Papi, so he's no longer there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to challenge the hitter so that I can play in at the corners. And we'll guard against the bunt. All right, here, Boston with something cooking as Betts steps in. Infield at the corners. Here's the pitch to Betts. Squares to bunt, and he misses. So it's no balls and 1 strike. So do they want to try it again? Do they think they're going to try to bunt again? I think they will as long as there's not 2 strikes. So here we go. Next pitch to Betts is pulled to deep left field. Going back is De Aza, way back. Fields for the wall, and he puts it away for the out. Ball was hit high, but it gave De Aza time to get back. Bogaerts is going to tag up and make third without the throw. So runners are now at the corners with 1 out. And now you have to worry about, do you play the infield in, or do you trust that you might be able to get a double play ground ball? They're going to play for the double play, so we're going to go ahead and pitch to Pedroia and try for the double play. So Pedroia is up. Infield looking for 2. The 2-1 offering from Brock. Line to right. Base hit. Doesn't matter. Ball game's over. Dustin Pedroia has just driven in Xander Bogaerts for the game-winning run. The ball game is over, and the Red Sox win it 2-1. So we save the game stats. It says database has been updated, and then we go to the box score, and then we get the final box score. And we see that the winning pitcher was Koji Urahara with an inning and two-thirds of shutout relief. Brad Brock took the loss. He only got one out, and that was on a sacrifice bunt. I'm sorry, no, it was on a fly ball to left. And he gave up 2 hits and a walk. And so he couldn't get the job done there in the 10th. And you could scroll down and see all the maneuvers about who batted for who and who ran for who. And it gives you a game time temperature. And it gives you all the little amenities about what happened in the game, stolen bases, caught stealing, who struck out, who walked, who had an error. This would give doubles, triples, and homers, but in this game there were only 2 doubles and that was it. Gives you the RBIs, who had Scope had one for the Orioles, Pedroia and Hannigan had them for the Red Sox. So and it gives you the box score here. And if you wanted the game log, of course, it would you could use that as well. Or if you wanted the score sheet, you could do that as well. And it gives you a pretty itemized score sheet, pretty straightforward. And one of them it does when it's too long to write out, when too much is happening, and there's not enough room in the block that's provided. A lot of times what they'll do is put notes, like it says note 1 right here. And the note 1 is when there was a single and the runner on second was out going to home. That's what the 2XH means. He was out right fielder to second base, and then the runner on first went to second. So that happened in the 9th. So that kind of, when they run out of room, that's what they do here, and they give you the place where the new pitchers come in and so forth. So that's a quick overview of Diamond Mine Baseball. One thing I do like about this game, even if I don't play it that much, in itself, one thing I do like about the game is I can go and get transactions, and either for one team or for everybody. Say I wanted to get the transactions for all the Boston Red Sox, okay? Their whole season's transactions, I got them right here. It tells me who went on the DL, who got called up, who got traded, who got waived, who's even day to day. Maybe they had something going on. Who got suspended? Who's out on bereavement list? All sorts of things. And if you don't want to do it for just one team, you can go back and do it for the whole league. So we go to transactions for the entire league, and then it gives you everybody by calendar date. So everything that happened. This is all people that got placed on the disabled list before the season started, and so forth. So there you go. That's just an overview there. This helps me if I'm playing other games and I want to do a as-played lineup. This gives me all the transactions, so I know who is on the 25-man roster at any given time. It even has one about who's in the doghouse. That's kind of interesting. And not only that, but I can go to any roster, and it'll tell me who's active at the time. Like now, it'll tell me that J.J. Hardy, Paredes, Wesley Wright, and Matt Wieters are all in the DL right now. The players in blue are the active players. The players in green are the ones that are in the minors or has not come to the team yet via trade or so forth. And it also gives me the ballpark effects for Camden yards. You see, it was heavy home run hitters, not much for triples, but definitely upgraded for home runs. And you can do that for any team you want, really. And then there's also a place here, organizer. You can go to the players and look at all the players in alphabetical order, where and anybody you want to look at. Say you want to look at, I don't know, let's find Jose Bautista. All right, there's Jose Bautista's card or picture. There's his batting stats from last year and what he's currently doing this year. It also gives you the fielding stats as you go. So it's definitely a heavily stat-driven game. Like I said, it's not. There's no sound. There's no video. It's just simply what you call a non-graphical. And the word's escaping me now. I used the word earlier. Now I can't think of it now. But it's just stat-based type game. All right, and now you see that the Boston-Baltimore game was already played. And if I want to go to the box score, just click on the game and click on box score, and there it is right there. So I can go back to any game during the year and quickly pull up the box score, and it gives me the running stats for each of the teams. And so now, say I want to go do a stat report for say, let's see here, report. Let's say I want to pull up the Baltimore Orioles, let's see here, team fielding. All right, let's do that. I can do the real life fielding that from the season, or I can do the current up to date. So I'm going to do the current up to date, and I'll hit generate, and it's going to ask me which time period, and I'm just doing regular season, and then I'll do Baltimore, and let's see here, total chances. How do I want to sort this? I'll sort it by position, and then we'll click OK. All right, so there you go. And it gives you the fielding stats for all the players. There's even the pitcher's defensive stats. It's got the catcher's defensive stats. These are all stats, replay stats, not the actual in-season stats. These are the replay stats using the game. And you can see that let's see here, anybody with big errors? Not really. No, that's about it. Of course, there's not enough games played. There's only been like 12 games played, so this is really good to look at near the end of the season when there's a whole lot more data to go by. But that's just one of the things you can do in this game to get custom reports, which I really like. If you want to look at somebody besides Baltimore, hey, you want to look at the Dodgers, let's go to the Dodgers. Here you go. So that gives you, or now I actually clicked in Milwaukee. Let's put it back on the Dodgers here. Okay, so there we've got all the fielding stats. Somebody like Justin Turner that plays several positions. Some of the outfielders like Van Slyke, he's in all three outfield positions, so forth. So that's it from this game. Like I said, I wanted to do something a little bit to try to give this game a fair shake. I know it's an older game, and compared to some of the games out there now, it's not a video game like MLB The Show, and it's not a really good board game like Strat-O-Matic or Payoff Pitch or History Maker Baseball. It's a computer game, so it is what it is. But it's something I do add to my rotation once in a while, and I do use it for other games as well to get some of the data that I need. So I wanted to put that out there and let everybody see it because honestly I didn't give it a fair shake the first time. So you may or may not care for this game. You may think it's a dumb game and you don't want to go through the problems of not having any sound or anything. But I personally like the game because it gives me a chance to manage against a computer manager, which acts pretty good, and it also gives me a chance to use my imagination and in my mind's eye, and I'm managing the game along the way, and I'm also announcing the game along the way. So it's kind of a good thing just to kind of break off from reality and put on my inner Vin Scully, for lack of a better term, and just kind of enjoy myself, for lack of a better term. So it's not a game for everybody. It's getting kind of phased out because of the other newer things that are out there and so forth. So, but it's a game that is in my rotation quite a bit when I want to play a PC game. This is one of the ones I go to. Of course, I'm heavily into cards and dice here lately, and that's kind of hard to break from that when you're enjoying that so much. But it's just like ice cream. You eat enough chocolate once in a while, you might want some vanilla to kind of offset it. So this is kind of my vanilla to kind of offset the other things, and it's something that I just enjoy. And so I wanted to put it out there, and let everybody see for themselves what this is. I haven't been on their website for a long time because I haven't ordered the game in a long time. I usually just order the season disc when it comes out. It's not really a disc, it's a download. But you can go to diamondmine.com or just Google Diamond Mine Baseball and it'll pop up. And I think it's competitively priced compared to other games on the market. And that's about it. So hopefully I didn't bore anybody with this, but it's just a game that was in my past and just kind of brought back a lot of good memories for me. And so I thought I would just throw it out there and let everybody know kind of where I came from before I got to Strat-O-Matic or any of these other games. This was the one I started with. So that's it, Diamond Mine Baseball. And I will catch everybody later.